right. Let's bring the enthusiasm, guys. Good morning. Woo. You know what? I know it's Sunday, but let's treat it like a Monday and be real excited about the week.
What? You know what? Yes. I know it's only Sunday, but let's treat it like Monday at 8 a.m., folks.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, it's Wednesday. So you're already halfway through the week, if that means anything.
For those of you not listening, I have no message for you. You can't hear it.
I know.
You're dead to me anyway. So for those of you not listening, for those of you listening, you can tell those that aren't listening that I hate them.
Yeah. Get them. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Strangely Familiar, the show with old friends who are now new. Would you say we're firmly entrenched in a friendship now? It seems like
man.
it.
I mean,
that's all it took.
We have not been this much hanging. Like 2001 has jumped to 2024. Like for the consecutive hangs. Like we have not hung out this much since we were literally in high school. Because I do consider these hangouts. This is technically hanging out by definition.
It's a structured hang. It's prescribed.
Right.
One of those.
Phone calls aren't hanging out, but video calls absolutely are.
Yeah. It's just like an antibiotic. It's like we probably don't need it anymore, but we probably should continue to take it.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll give each other herpes. Is that how it works? I don't know.
That's and that's where podcasts
some kind of
come
viral
from.
Infection.
See, but
speaking of, I can't shake this dang.
To be viral. Can't shake what? No, nothing.
Dude, I don't know. I need a doctor out there.
Okay.
If one of the people who is listening is in fact a doctor of the nose head, please reach out to me. I can't decide if I have residual cold or allergies all the time. But in the spring it happens, and in the fall it happens, but it lasts like a month. Yesterday I get up and I just blow my nose, and it's just like there's no snot, there's no mucus. It just feels like I'm congested literally all the time. It's just blood, and I hate it. I might be dying.
Jesus.
Is something wrong with me? Well, I think it's because I'm dry. All that shit. The winter's coming. And my nose can't decide what it wants to be. If it wants to drip, if it wants to be stuffed but with no stuffing, or if I just want to feel like I have a headache perpetually. I need help from a doctor, and I probably should just go to the doctor. Open enrollment probably ends this week for folks in the know.
Yeah.
This is a hot wreck for you. That insurance.
Get insured. Okay.
But then I take these, and then I can't decide. Like maybe I shouldn't take the allergy meds or the decongestants because it's probably drying me out. And I have a little humidifier or the what do you call them? What are the things that read how humid your space is? One of those deals.
Barometer.
Yeah.
Right? No.
I got those.
Is barometric pressure the same as humidity? Am I just mixing weather terms? Okay.
Probably.
Okay. Barometers. Yeah. Anyway.
But but you want to keep it for the allergens. You want to keep it under 50 because that prevents like dust mites and whatever from forming. But then, is that not humid enough to keep my nose from cracking from the inside? It's a delightful puzzle I'm solving, or not solving, as it were. And then I take these different meds, and God, like, I'm like, did I take 2 ibuprofen 3.5 hours ago or 4 hours ago? Because I better not. And did I already take my 2 vitamin gummies today? I would hate to take a third and have too many vitamins, coming from a guy who had no problem in his past drinking like 14 drinks and then taking just mixing all kinds of shit. I had my day of like hydrocodines or Vicodins and drinking and all that and fun days, and now I'm like, I better not take 3 ibuprofen. Like, what has happened to me? What's going on?
Seems kind of risky. Right.
I know.
100% in my 20s, I literally was more than happy to mix whatever I needed to mix.
Yeah. This is literally me Googling, can I use a neti pot twice in one day? Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God.
That's where we are. Talk.
How about I go?
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed
Now that I got that off my chest, we're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Ready and willing. You know what I was thinking?
Mm-hmm.
We should start off hot.
Oh,
we should start off
Oh.
hot. Ooh, does that get you nice and medium in the morning?
I'm so humid.
We got a fabulous YouTube comment that said more Family Feud or Reverse Family Feud or whatever we call it, Jim Family Feud. And I was like, if we can make one person happy on this podcast, we've already done more than anybody thought. That's all we can do.
And that includes ourselves.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not either of us in that count. So here's the concept, y'all. It's based on now I'm like really active. It's based on being at the gym, whatever, on the elliptical, watching Family Feud with no audio, and trying to figure out what the category is as I see the answers on the board. And now whenever I see it, I'm definitely tuning in, and it's fun. It's just stuck in my brain. And you know what I should do is probably, to keep this like a really lively game, is just do the ones from the game that I see instead of pulling them from the internet. But here's what we're going to do. I have some Family Feud categories with the answers. So I'm going to read the answers from the least popular to the most popular, and Jeff will try to guess what the category is. And I'd say, still trying to figure out which ones are more difficult than others. Some of them seem easy to me when I already know the answer, but on the other side, it's not. So we're still trying to gauge what's a good category. So here we've got some more.
Okay.
So I will read them from the bottom up. And Jeff will try to guess the category, and you at home guess as well. All of our fan, you do that as well. So here we go. Start out with category 1. No particular order. Answer number 5. A baby. A baby with 6.
Baby with 6. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that is. I gotta say, things you want to punch.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Number 4.
Well, we're making progress. Yep.
A baby. Has somebody ever punched somebody? Yeah, that sucks. Probably somebody has. That sucks. Yeah. I don't know why I asked
it's
that.
Fun. It's fun. It's funny to talk about, Matt, but now you've made it real. All right. It's funny to joke about, but now you made it real.
Yeah. Number 4. A rumor with 9.
Ooh.
A baby and a rumor.
Big twist already. A rumor and a baby. Things. Yeah.
Things. What are you doing? Wheel of Fortune categories?
Things you create.
Oh, that's a good one. It's not the answer, but I like it. See.
Okay.
I like the wheel spinning. That's pretty solid there. The third answer, 12 votes.
Yeah.
Or answers. Collection plate.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Things that get passed around. There you go.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, baby, rumor, collection plate, things that get passed around. Do you think you know?
Ooh.
Answers 1 and 2.
The top 2 answers.
Yeah.
Because this is what's
With
confusing.
34 and 23 respectively.
A cold. A cold.
A cold. Number 2.
Okay.
Number 2 with 23.
Things you pass around. Like dinner food, like you pass around the food, like at Thanksgiving. No. Okay. Hold on.
Here, one more.
Okay. Things you pass around. That's a football.
Pass around a football.
You throw it's
it is
called
good.
A pass.
I know it is. It's just the way you said it. Pass around the football.
Right. It sounds like a person who's never seen any sport in his life, just heard about them.
Shoot the football. This would be one of those ones that Steve would go, who are these people, man? Who are these people? A joint. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
That's the
A
first
joint.
one?
A joint. Yep,
Oh
number
my
one.
good,
With
clutch my
34.
pearls. You know what? This is the state of
Yeah.
affairs in our country.
69, dudes!
Woo! All right. Good, though. You're 1 for 1 in Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of
good.
Fortune. Family Feud. The Family
Good,
Feud.
good. This is hard. Okay.
All right. Next category. We've got, this is a fatty. This is a big old fatty. Speaking of joints, 8 answers. 8 answers on the
Oh
board.
my goodness. Okay.
We're going to the Warden family. Answer number 8. Actually, 6, 7, and 8 all have 2 responses. So you're going to be in good shape here.
Oh boy.
Dragon. Number 8, road/street.
Okay. Things you navigate.
Number 7, screen.
Is that scream with an M?
Screen. SCREEN.
Okay. Things you keep your eye on.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I like what you're doing there. I like where your mind is. Coming in sharp. Coming in hot today.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Not right, but that is a good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
You should feel better about that wrong answer. All right.
Yeah. And golf course with 2. Road street,
course.
screen, and golf course.
Things you drive. Okay.
Number 5 with 8. Colander/strainer.
Ooh. Things with holes. Let's go. Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Hey,
Oh, screen. I was thinking movie
like a screen door?
Okay, screen door.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there was 4 more answers. Name something that might be full of holes.
Okay. Swiss
so
cheese.
can you get? So there's 4. What'd you say?
Swiss cheese.
The number 1 answer with 40. Swiss cheese.
Things with holes. It sounds weird, but I feel like we associate holes with these. Barrels?
Barrels.
Yeah, like a hole in a barrel, like a keg.
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
barrel.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Things with holes. Not vulgar. Things with holes.
We're going to go with the butt, Steve.
Man, you people are crazy, man. Number 1 answer. Things with holes. Geez, tennis racket? I don't know. This is difficult.
That's good. I will give you the number 2 answer.
Okay.
With 16, clothes/socks.
I see. Yeah.
Number 3, here's a fun one. 14, alibi/story.
No way. 14 people who get
all you
surveyed
true
in
crime
this show.
podcasters, you're all yelling. You're all yelling at your device right now.
So wait, these
Jeff,
are
how
off
could
the
you not
internet.
get that?
These didn't make the these are not from the show, correct?
I
think
know.
people are
Nobody will
creating
ever
them
know.
on the internet because there's no
You'd
way
have to
Steve
watch
Harvey.
every
there's no
episode.
way 14 people that wherever they are harvesting these answers, there's no way 14 people would say alibis on a Steve
Yeah, but
Harvey
somebody
show.
was like, name something that might be full of holes if they said it that way, and you were just walking around in the mall trying to get your steps in, listening to a true crime podcast.
Yeah, I'd still
You know?
say people, but anyway, I digress.
And then net/fishing net. There you go.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
you
would
are
have given
on a
me.
roll.
I would have given me fishing net with a tennis racket. It's a sporting good that employs the same concept. I'm reaching,
right,
but
Steve.
leave me alone.
It is.
Okay.
Yes. Anything found at Dick's Sporting Goods? All right. I think I had deleted these if we've already used them, so we'll.
Well, here's to hoping.
Here's
Not
one
really,
that
really good.
I think this one is a little bit off the beaten path. This one,
Oh,
the
this
wheels
one
will have to
is.
be spinning extra fast.
Fuck.
All right. There's
Not
5
good.
answers.
Mm-hmm.
5 answer. Answer 5. With 5 votes.
Oh boy.
Answers.
All right.
Here we
Just
go.
just
During
go.
a job interview. During a job interview. During
times you
a job interview.
worst times to have to poop. I wish that was on Family Feud.
That's-
But I don't care. I needed to say it.
I wish I could tell you how close you were to the answer without being the answer.
Okay.
Number 4, in a library.
Now I'm just gonna think of that no matter what you say. Worst place to sneeze. Worst time
Again,
to sneeze.
you're like in the wheelhouse.
Okay.
Nuclear power plant, 20.
I've never pooped in a nuclear power plant, so I don't know the danger. Okay, this is a curve now. So job interview in a library in a nuclear power plant. Worst place to get a reaction. What? I don't even know. I'll do it. There we go.
Again, not bad, not bad.
Okay.
Number 2 answer with 25, on an airplane. Dude, deep in thought. This is a tough. I'd be surprised if you got
Power
this.
plant is really
but
weird.
you were so
Power
close.
plant throws me off. Yeah, I don't. Worst place to get sick. I feel like I'm losing. Number one answer is gonna really.
I probably threw
jack
you
me
off
up.
by saying how close you were, and you'll know why. But number 1, 35, an operating room. So we've got during a job interview, in a library, nuclear power plant, on an airplane, and operating room.
Worst place to be the smartest person.
Ooh, that's between that and worst place to take a poop. I might accept it, and I'll tell you why.
Obviously, why?
Name a place you would never want to hear someone say, oops. So you were literally one letter off, and in theory, like, if you're the smart guy, you know what I mean? Like,
It's the
yeah,
same.
yeah,
It's the same
yeah.
concept. It is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
smartest person.
You
Oops
don't
in
wanna
a
be-
library,
yeah, especially if it's one of
Why
us,
would
yeah.
you not want to hear "oops" in a library? That's a terrible.
That's the one I don't get. I don't understand why 10 people said that. Oops. What are the stakes at the library?
Right. The library is the most placid place where nothing aggressive happens. So, like, even what's oops?
Yeah.
Dropping a book and then all of the words fall out. Does this person not know how like knowledge and like words work?
So that's literally somebody just answering, name some place you would never want to hear someone say anything. It's just what they answered. Has nothing to do with the
Right.
word oops at all. That's all.
Maybe that's what it is.
One more. One more. One more for the Warden family.
And also, if we're
Fast
being
money,
jerks
fast money.
on an airplane, if the pilot's saying "oops," I can't hear that. If I hear "oops," it's by a
Yeah.
passenger.
Touching passengers, cruising altitude. Oops.
Whoops.
All right. I don't. All right. I don't think we did this one, so this is a
Okay.
win. This one goes out on a W. I'm gonna say this is a surefire W.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff.
For Jeff. Let's go.
Mhm. Let's go, Solus.
6 answers on the board. Answer number 6 with 3 is clock.
Clock. Things
Clock.
with a face.
Answer number 5 with 8 pantyhose.
Things. Things with a tear. What?
All right. Well, then let's get to work.
Answer number 4. Nose with 8.
NOSE, like schnoz. Things that
Clock,
run.
pantyhose, nose.
Things that run. Was the number one answer runners?
All right. So, other than feet, name something that runs. That's the category.
A car.
A car is number 2.
Okay, I'm having a hard time with number one answers. Things that run. A refrigerator.
Number 3.
See, this is why is the number one answer so fucking hard? Things that other than feet, things that run. You run something is running.
Jizz, like cum shot.
I don't think that's it. I don't know. I don't have anything. Literally nothing coming to mind.
Water. Water is
I don't
running.
believe that would be the number one answer. I feel like
That's
a
an
car
old prank
would
call.
be.
Remember, he called somebody and say, "Hey, is your water running?"
No, you say, is your refrigerator running? And then they say yes, and you go,
that's
then you
right.
better go catch it.
Oh well.
Prince Albert in a can.
That was Reverse Family Feud, brought to you by Fiber One, or whatever, some kind of fiber in your life.
Centrum Silver.
Metamucil. Get it. Get regular. Stay regular. Otherwise, you'll be the one oopsing in the library. Right, and that's everything I had planned. Now,
All right. Well,
we will vamp for 38 minutes.
we will call it. So, speaking of running, I did do another 5K. Just did the Rocky run. So,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
It was
Was
horrible.
it costumed?
No,
Your
I
Mighty
did not
Ducks costume?
I did not. I did not costume it.
It was horrible.
It was sold out, and they said that there was like 20,000 people there. So imagine a 5K run with. I don't know that 20,000 people signed up for the 5K because there's also a 10-miler, but probably 15,000 people signing up for a 5K. And so from the time that the first gun shot to start the race at 7 a.m., I started my race. They released it in waves. I didn't start till 7:36.
You're just sitting there for that long. God,
Just
that
standing
sucks.
in place in a crowd. Like, it was rough. It was rough. I'm not going to lie.
And then are
Had
you
to
like
get up.
packed in like a group of people the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Slow, like one step every 30 seconds?
Oh, it was
Kinda.
awful because, listen, I could be a curmudgeon all day about this, but folks, I am
What?
very, very supportive of people doing 5Ks in any way, shape, or form that works for them. Let me start with saying that. You got up and did a 5K. Good for you. It is exercise. It is, it's just a healthy thing to do. That being said, get the fuck out of the way. Stop walking in the way. Go to the right. It's just like
walking
a
in the
car.
way, yeah.
Walk on the right-hand side of the area. Do not walk 4 people across when there are thousands of people that are running this race. Like, it is just a very frustrating and it's so I hate grocery shopping because of people with carts and no one's mindful of anyone else. Just amplify that by 6 billion, and that's what a massive 5K brings you. It's just people being in each other's way. It's not a problem that you're walking. It's where you're walking and how you're doing it. Stop it. Stop starting at the front of a race if you walk. start at the back of the race because you won't be in the way of runners.
You're not in a race.
You're not right. You're not racing shit. You're not doing time. You're not going against people. Like, just, I don't understand like the why people would want to start far up and then walk. Like, it's like either they
How do
don't
they determine
know,
that, the order?
well,
like, to start.
there was 4 corrals, but they're massive. I mean, obviously you're taking 10,000 people and you're quantifying them into 4 corrals, but other than that, it's free for all. So like, no one's stopping people from doing that because the races are too big. So if smaller 5Ks, it doesn't matter as much because it's not as congested. But these, like, it's such a pain. I hate it. I'm just gonna lie the next time I do a big one and just because what you do is when you sign up for the 5K, they ask you what your 5K time is or like your mile is, your mile pace, and then they put you in a section based on that. I'm just gonna fucking lie. I'm just gonna lie and be like, yeah, I run a 5.
Do they put the faster people up front or the slower people up front?
Faster people up front because they want
they're
them
truly racing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like they want them to have the biggest opportunity, and they're not going to be in anyone's way. They don't want them to like. That's the logical thing to do is put fast people up front. So,
Dude, you should fucking line up with a bunch of like Kenyans, and I mean,
Right.
I guess they don't do 5Ks, but
well,
you should
the guy who won, the winning time was a 5-minute 6-second pace. I
that's
think
insane.
yeah, 5-minute mile for 5K. My pace for retrospect, I think for the the logged time, which given how much congestion and weaving and stuff I had to do, it's actually a fairly okay time, I guess. I think it was like 10 minutes and 6 seconds. So I'm almost double the winner's pace for that race. So yeah, my brother and sister-in-law came down, so it was fun because they came down and did it for the first time. This was my second Rocky Run, but I think I'm going to retire from the Rocky Run because it's just fucking frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. And if it's frustrating, I don't see the benefit in it because I don't want to be frustrated. I want to have a good day. And that's a terrible thing to do is just frustrate yourself when
Dude,
you're cold.
I can just see you at the start just being like, do you have headphones in? Or are you trying to like meditate or listen to tunes? Or are you just fucking over it already?
I'm kind of over it already. Like, I had to wake up at like 5:15 in the morning so that I could drive into Philly,
God.
park, and then walk to where this 5K starts. So like, yeah, I don't know. I hate that that's me, but that is me. I can't ignore
That
it
should
because
be the
I'm
subtitle of our
cold.
podcast.
I hate that it's me, but that's me.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, man. I like 5Ks, but the only positive was that when I did get going, I was feeling good because it was like 43 degrees out with like, no humidity, no precipitation or anything. So like that's ideal running weather because legs feel good when it's cold, but then you get into a rhythm. So you didn't feel cold. My hands didn't feel cold. The air didn't feel too cold to breathe. So like it was ideal temperature weather-wise. That was good. So, but that's the shining part of it. A lot of other things about it just bothered me.
I think the lack of awareness that people have when they're in public spaces is got to be an all-time Mount Rushmore just annoying thing for anybody, because most people have to deal with this. Because you're right, it's a grocery store thing. Everybody knows what you're talking about when you say it. It's a ubiquitous feeling of like just the people who don't have an awareness for public. And I've noticed that when I've been running lately, especially when I go through like on my path, like in Auburn, there's Hoops Park, obviously, which is like a little pond, and it's ideal for lap running. I do a couple around there before I continue along in the neighborhood because it's a big circle. It's pretty. There's ducks. There's, floral, maybe some fauna, like squirrels and stuff. I don't know.
And I believe fauna, if I understand the word.
If I understand, yeah. I didn't know what it meant for 30 years or so, and then I finally looked it up. I thought they were the same things, and we were just having a little bit of alliterative fun just for the sake of it. But I run by people, and I always wear my headphones. And let's say I even grant grace to the people that do take up the whole track, because there's 2 that sometimes need the whole path, 3 or 4, like a family with kids, sure, I'll go around. I'll run in the grass and go around you. I'll do that. I don't mind. Fuck me, huh? Who needs pavement to run on? I'll go in the grass where I could risk slipping, stepping in feces, or a host of other myriad
or whatever.
things. yes, man. I'll go around, but when I do, it's fucking people act like I'm murdering them all the time, and I'm barely doing that. But they like, I mean, people. I run by people, and they're like, I'm like,
I know.
you're in a fucking public space where people are running, or like people. It's happened so many times that it's laughable, and I'm like, how do you live your life with no awareness about where you are in a public space at all?
How disconnected are you?
Yeah. Like, especially, I'm not even talking about, like, in a way I can understand if you had headphones in yourself and like somebody runs, and I don't run like body to body next to somebody at all. Like, I'm like many feet off, just because this has happened multiple times. I run by somebody with their dog, and their dog jumps at me and barely misses me because they grab the leash. I'm like, if your dog's attacking people on a public trail, they're probably not, you know, cinch that leash a little bit longer. Like, people always have the leash so long, and they're like, oh my God. It's like, if your dog behaves like that, you know, use the leash.
I've been in that spot recently when I was running, like within the last few weeks. Someone by my house, their dogs, I had my headphones in and I'm jogging in the morning, and a dog started like, a small dog started running at me and caught me off guard, and I spun, and like the owner was outside and like watched them go to the bathroom and stuff, and I'm like, you know, if your dog does this isn't the first time your dog ran at a random person going by. So, right, you're a pain in the ass. I don't care if you didn't think someone would run by, like that's not an excuse. But one time I really thought it was crunch time. A dog came out from like a backyard. There was like, they had like almost like a pergola type thing, or like a gazebo, but it had side flaps, like wind flaps on the side, so I couldn't see anything. All of a sudden the flap lifted up and a dog started sprinting at me, and I turned and like cocked my fist because I'm like, I don't know if I'm instinctively ready to punch or punt this dog. But the owner came out and the dog stopped and stuff, and I'm like, I literally started screaming. I'm like, get your fucking dog under control. I'm like, you're lucky I didn't fucking punt your dog. Like, I love dogs, but if a dog comes at me, I have no problem losing my fucking mind. But like, I wanted to go up and fucking smack this person upside the head and be like, stop being a bad dog owner. You are bad at this. Fucking be better. Like, yeah, I'm tired of people being like, I didn't know Pookie did this. Yes, you fucking did. Shut up. No one's dog acts like a wild card that much. No one. Stop it. You know what your dog does. Stop. Fucking hate people. God damn it.
Hey, Jeff.
No,
I love when I can get on your
soulless.
wavelength and deliver for you. It's just, I was like,
God
Jeff
damn.
moment. I mean, it echoes, I mean, just the spectacular lack of awareness that people still continue to have. This is one of my favorite things to say now. And you guys, I came up with it on my own, so you can use it and stuff. Like, sometimes I do come up with original thoughts.
Sure.
But I say it in a lot of different contexts, but I say pretend to ... or pretend you're ... And what I say, the ... is always what you're doing already. So it's something like, hey, pretend you're in public with your dog, or pretend you're in public walking on a trail and there's other people out here. Just pretend you're doing that. I'll say that word. Hey, pretend you're at work and you have the job to do. Like, it's one of those. It's like my very sarcastic way of saying, like, hey, you should be doing this thing that you're doing already, and you're not doing it. So just pretend you're on a trail and there's other people in public, and that you should be aware of that. And that's what I don't say it. I just think it.
So
But
fucking frustrating. I hate unaware people. Like, all right, so yesterday I was driving behind a guy. I'm driving next to him, and I look over, and he's got his phone literally less than 6 inches from his face, and like high up, like straight in front of his face. I'm like, who looks at their phone like
wait, while he's walking?
No, like stopped at a red light. Sorry. We're
Okay.
in
Oh,
side-by-side
yeah.
lanes. I look over, he stopped at a red light, and he's staring at his phone like this, and I'm like, so if you're that blind that you have to look at your phone like this, you probably shouldn't be driving. but you're also unaware. And I literally say to everyone else in the car, I go, what are the chances this guy actually goes on the green light? And I'm like, 5% chance tops. Green light goes, I start going, and I just look in my side and rear mirror and delay, and then starts up. So we get to the next red light. He pulls up next to me again. Or no, he's this person. Doesn't go on a green, but then also speeds and like cuts in front of me. And I'm like, oh, now you have somewhere to be. You can't focus at a red light, but you also speed because you have somewhere to be. I'm like, there's a middle ground to this, and that's going on fucking green. So anyway, we get to the next red light. He's like checking his hair and stuff in the rear view mirror. I go, that's back-to-back red lights where you've tried to work in a task. I'm like, just fucking drive your automobile. Stop doing other shit. Drive your fucking car. Drive the car and focus on driving a car. This is why people get in accidents. This is why people fucking get hurt. This is why people unfortunately die, is because people like this, it's just like, just drive the goddamn car. You do not need to be quote unquote multitasking because A, you're not fucking good at it, and B, just like it's dangerous. Drive your goddamn car. Stop doing not driving your car. The amount of people I beat off of that people that just don't go on a green is insane in 2024. It's insane how often people won't just drive when the light turns green. That's why we have traffic congestion. Yes, there are substantially more cars on the road, but the reality is it's because we don't fucking pay attention. That's why there is congestion. Pay the fuck attention. Because next time you have a fucking injury claim or something like that, I'm going to laugh at you and be like,
I knew it.
I
The
take
claim,
statements.
there it is.
I take statements from people and they tell me things and I'm like, you're fucking lying to me. You are lying to me when you describe this accident. I'm not going to tell you you're lying to me, but I want
Are
you
you
to
allowed
understand.
to say that? No, you're not.
Well, if I can catch them in an objective
Can you be
lie,
like, listen, let's talk turkey here. All right, let's.
I do that with their attorneys. But like,
okay.
But if there's evidence against them, I'll be like, yeah, what you're telling me doesn't add up with the impact and damages that
With
I'm
the
seeing
police
on your
statement.
car. Yeah. I'm like, so I'll be like, I'll be like, here's what I'm doing. And it's more of like, I'm not going to tell you I'm disregarding everything you're saying, but I'm going to describe what I'm going to do. And you can piece together that I'm completely disregarding what you're saying. And I mean, it is what it is, but people just lie incessantly and everyone, it's so run of the mill now that people think they're like, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. And this person came out of nowhere. I go, well, congrats. You just said the person came out of nowhere. Guess what that means? You weren't fucking paying attention because they didn't come out of nowhere. They came out of somewhere. So tell me, use your words. Use your fucking words. What did you see? Oh, I didn't see them. All of a sudden I ran into them. I go, so you weren't paying attention? No, I was. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss what you're telling me because you're telling me contradicting things. So that I will tell people. I'll be like, well, you just told me 2 contradicting things. So which one would you like to go with? I've said that to people. So you've given me 2 answers. Which one sounds better to you?
I didn't do fucking shit.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it.
I love that. It doesn't get lost on me, but sometimes I forget that this is also your job. Which is good because I think it would also be your hobby, which is to just complain about traffic. So now at least you get paid sort of to like be in it. It's like I don't know what other job would be better for you. Now that I think about it, at least you get fucking.
That's a good point.
You get paid for it on the regular.
Now I train people, so I'm literally paid to talk about making sure that you call people out on this shit. How do you like them apples?
I never thought about it, but yeah, it's perfect for you, really. Even though you hate it, at least you get paid for it. It's the best balance.
Yeah.
Now I think about it too, like, cause I'm a commuter, obviously we know. But when I go home and I have moments like that, I'm like, God, Jeff would fucking hate this. And it's the one that is very prevalent in my mind now. And it's always there. It's also the awareness thing. And you can tell people aren't aware. Their speeds. So like you're following somebody who's going 53 and a 55 and you're like, this is, and I hate when people are like, okay, well, it's only going to make, if you're going 53 instead of 55, that'll add like 5 minutes to your travel. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, it is for me on both ways. Like if I lose 15 minutes a day driving, that matters to me. I'm sorry that your life is so perfect that 15 minutes don't matter to you because you're going to blow it on whatever. And am I going to blow out playing video games or taking an extra long shit? Maybe. But that's my choice. I get to do that. Will you take those 15 minutes away from me? That's not my choice anymore, man. Fuck. And like people that they're going 53 and 55 because I would be going 62, 63. You know, again, that comfortable 10%, maybe 12%, 13% over that we can safely drive in where a cop would have to be a real dick to pull you over in. And it could. But
it's that perfect speed where I can get where I'm going, but if I do get pulled over, I have a right to be mad at the cop. I like to buy myself that cushion.
Yeah, do you have an idea how fast you're going? 61? Probably. Yeah. Is that what this is about, officer? This is it, huh? All right. I'd have to ask you. You should. That's a good Dave question. Asking your brother who had a life as a trooper. How many times did he pull somebody over going 10% or less over the speed limit because of speed, not because of something else?
Right.
Like if he used it as like, I think there's something fucky going on with this car, and they technically are speeding, so I'm gonna pull them over, but just because of the speed.
Yeah.
But then you get to this passing lanes. So there's these, you know, especially on these, half the drive is on these country roads. Sometimes there's like it turns into a 2-lane thing. So the slower traffic can go on the right. By golly, that 53 mile per hour car all of a sudden is going 61 when it gets to the 2 lanes. It's like they just hit him like, oh, I'm going too slow. Because I'm getting ready to go around them. And they just stay in that lane. They go faster in that moment. And they're like hits. It happens on the throughway too. Like cars that are going fine. If you want to go 65 comfortably, stay 65. I'm gonna pass you because I'm going like whatever 71. So I'm gonna like go around. It's okay. You can just stay where you are. But as soon as you start passing, they start going faster. And I'm like, okay, so you literally have no awareness of your speed, or you're not even like you see a car passing you and it makes you want to drive faster. So you have no concept of how fast you're going, what's happening in your car, what your speeds are. You're just reacting to the traffic around you that might try to be passing you, and you're a piece of shit.
If you are hanging out in the left lane, you are doing it wrong. Even if you're going above the speed limit. If you are going 75 and a 65 in the left lane, you don't get to be in the left lane because you're like, well, I'm passing because I'm going above the speed limit. No, because you want to what? If the guy behind me wants to go 90 in a 65, okay. I should be over to the right so that he can pass me going 90 in his, even though I'm speeding, he can pass me more speeding. Because if nothing else, I'd like to not, guess what else 90 mile an hour guy's going to do? He's not going to calmly go 75 behind me. He's going to lose his mind. Why? Because he's that type of person. So I'm going to get out of the crazy guy's way to let him go be crazy. Like, I am not going to be like, sir, you don't need to be going that fast. True. That being said, I am not policing the streets. That is not my place to do it. And then, so like people go like, yeah, this guy was being a nut job behind me because I was blocking him because he was speeding too much. I'm like, you're wrong too. Get out of his way. Let him go be fucking reckless. Be out of the situation. So like, it is, man. Driving, yeah, it's bad. It's like that's almost part of like my biggest thing of like long trips is not even the trip itself. It's because I know I'm gonna get stuck behind people, and there's just gonna be times where it's just it doesn't get easy because I'm like, why do we have to drive like that? Why are you driving like this? Why? Be aware of everyone else and be courteous of everyone else. Like, share the road, man. Like, be a good driver. You know what? I'm really finding it hard to believe that you haven't noticed that your blinker's been on for the last 6 miles. Like, turn your goddamn blinker off. I was behind a tandem truck, UPS truck, yesterday that was in a right lane of 2 and had his left blinker on. So I'm sitting back because I'm like, I'm guessing he's waiting till he has enough room to get to the left, and he never got left. And I'm like, I don't know when it's okay for me to get past you because I'm terrified because you're clearly not paying attention. Are you eventually making a left? And so if you're a truck driver, you're literally paid to be good at driving. Be good at driving. Like, be aware when your blinker's on. It's not okay to be like, oh my goodness, silly me. My blinker's been on for the last 6 miles and I'm probably terrifying every other fucking person on the road because I'm the largest, most dangerous vehicle here.
It'd be
and
a great
I clearly
troll.
am not paying attention. It would be a great troll. Just drive forever with your left blinker on.
Yeah.
Just
Driving in
to
the
mess
left
with
lane's no
society.
way to live a life either. Like to
No,
just be
it's
like
not.
up against it the whole time. Like the best situation you can ever have driving is to be in the right lane with no cars around you. I would rather go 65 in the right lane with nobody around me than I would to like be going 72 in the left lane, bumper to bumper, just trying to pass cars.
Yep.
That sucks. Because you got to be aware the whole time. You're just like, fuck, Jesus.
Let me ask you if you ever do this. I did this yesterday leaving Philly. The ideal way to get back to Jersey was backlogged. And I go, nope. And I kept driving that I knew was going to be a longer distance and even arguably take longer, but I wouldn't be in traffic because I'm like, no, I don't want the stress of screaming at people in front of me being like, fucking go, like, because I know that's how my brain's going to work. Even if I don't audibly do it, it's going to happen. So I literally took a longer way home because it was going to be less trafficky because I'm like, I want less cars around me. Even if the trip takes longer, it will be less stressful.
I'm all about that. That's like my whole
Yeah.
thing. That's why I hate highway driving. Because I drive, like when I do the work ride, like there's one path that I can take that's almost all country road the whole way. And it might take, some days it may take a little bit longer, like 40 minutes, 42. But if I took the throughway or if I took 690, it might take 30. So I might be adding 5 minutes on to it. But especially in the morning when I'm half away, like if I don't have to drive right next to people that are, number one, are putting makeup on and all that shit on their phone, going real fast, everybody's heightened, and I just get to drive on this road and chill, like just space out, kind of. I know we're talking about awareness, but my spacing out is different than like being in my phone or putting on makeup spacing out. I would say it's more like just listening to a podcast or, just looking at the skyline. And also there's not that much traffic, so I can do, it's like one of those things.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm sandbagging myself with this argument, but yes, I would rather drive an extra 5 minutes for the peace of just making it an easy drive. Just simple. Absolutely. I probably will lose that privilege once the winter comes. I'll have to do more highway, possibly throughway.
You will lose that privilege. You will.
But I know I will lose. Anyways, cool. We fulfilled our obligation of 15 minutes of car talk. It's the talk about cars on NPR. 1994.
1994.
We're gonna do it, you guys. This is the part of the show where we talk about stuff from the year of the episode number, and we're getting into the big leagues here. Maybe the little big leagues here of the years. So we're 93 we talked about last week. 94. This is becoming a formative time for us as Utes as we move along. And things are happening. We are recording songs from the radio on cassette tapes. America Online is starting to ship out floppy disks for internet. Nancy Kerrigan is being assaulted by Jeff Gillooly. This is a big thing. This is when I'm starting to be aware of like mainstream news and stuff like that. It's happening. We're already in the movies. I'm buying cassette tape albums now in the 94s. This is the first year like going to Record Town to buy tapes. Big year for that. Big year. I can still picture these tapes that I'm buying. Offspring, Smash, Green Day, Dookie. We're in it. This is a big, big year. Also big year for Ace of Base. Still, I think last week we talked about 93, very much into the dance. The pop. There's a lot of that going on. Ace of Base comes in just as the strikes while the iron could not be hottest, with maybe the most banger pop record of the year of the 90s. All That She Wants Is Another Baby. I used to crank it on my clock radio. Why? I don't know. I didn't understand what it means. But
I don't really know.
That beat was awesome. All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow. I was like, fuck yeah. The Sign, the All-Timer. Don't Turn Around. Maybe one people forget about.
Don't
turn around just because I
'cause
see
you're gonna
you
see my
heartbreaking.
heart breaking.
The question is, when is the Ace of Base musical going to come out like ABBA got? Because ABBA, everybody now, like ABBA's so huge now. But what people forget is before those movies, Mamma Mia, all the Broadway came out, ABBA was known, but they weren't like huge. People knew Dancing Queen, but it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now for like karaoke or weddings. It wasn't. And now it's huge. So I think I can see that for Ace of Base. Yeah. I mean, obviously they were big, you know, the Eurovision. They were a known quantity when they came out, but then they were.
Well, I think they were more
low.
for our parents and stuff like that. Like our generation didn't know ABBA before Mamma Mia and such. Right. Dancing Queen maybe, but Waterloo, SOS, there's secondary hits that those didn't fall with our generation. But you're right. Now it's like good for them, I guess. I mean, I don't know if they're making money off of it. That's probably one of these things where they're like, yeah, we don't see a penny from this rebirth of anything. So, but yeah, man, 94 definitely. I was looking at albums and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this just keeps going. You had already said Dookie and Smash, 2 massive albums.
All-timers in my life, probably yours as well.
100% hold up. I think, yeah, Dookie got me into like, I'm like, okay, yeah, like aggressive, like rock type stuff. And then Smash was very outside the box for me. Like, I remember hearing Come Out and Play on the radio and being like, ooh, this James Bondy sounding like, like,
oh yeah,
the guitar parts and stuff. And then Weezer, Blue Album. I mean,
that's right.
Listening to like Buddy Holly and stuff like that. I'm like, what is this stuff? I'm like, this is so neat. But then you also had Bush 16 Stone. I played that thing incessantly. Now Bush was obviously massive.
Was that 94 as well? Shit.
Yeah, dude. So
that's right.
that was massive. That was very popular. Bush crashed into the scene. Like arguably Bush and like Oasis being like, oh, this is like another British invasion type concept of these British bands all of a sudden just blowing up our radio waves. God damn. Because of like Glycerine, Machine Head. And then you also had on the more aggressive side, that's when Korn released Life is Peachy. So you have that as well, which, you know, didn't really kick down the scene as much as their second album, or as much as their third album, because Life is Peachy was their second album, but that was Adidas and that code talk amongst kids and being like, do you even know what Adidas stands for? And it's all day I dream about sex, and it's like, oh man, it's like a shoe, but it's dirty. I mean, just really interesting. Now, some of the stuff that I didn't get into but was released in 94, but I only got into later on, was like STP Purple, Stone Temple Pilots, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah, that was an interesting, coming on the heels of Core, which was like very grunge driven and more like heavy riffage. Purple was weird. Like I remember hearing it on a cassette tape. My buddy down the street, Jason Roberts, had it. And we listened to it, and it was very alternative. That's when Scott Weiland must have been deep into the oxys at that time, or just the straight up needle. But it was kind of trippy and like vibey in a way that I appreciate more than I did then. I mean, it still had like some riffage, like the Interstate Love Song was like a great, you know.
But like Vaseline, Meat Plow.
Vaseline.
Yeah. Yeah, so the music, I think 94, and I've always kind of remembered it as being that, is like 94. I know you had said like in the last couple of years that like really started coming into your own. I felt like that was like the start of like my teenager really going off of, okay, now I'm into music that I don't know if like my parents want me listening to. So like getting music was like, you didn't like ask to play it in the car. You more wanted to listen to it with headphones because you're just like, oh, this like, I want to enjoy
that's right.
this.
CD player in the car, in the back seat.
I want to enjoy this by myself because I can enjoy it. I don't have to worry about my parents listening to it. Not that it was like bad bad music, but it was just like, I know my dad certainly doesn't want to listen to this stuff. My mom is more open-minded to it, but I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to explain it. I don't want it potentially having taken away from me. So like that was the start of music where I'm like, I really like listening to this, but I still wasn't big into lyrics at all. It just sounded really good to me. Like I didn't know half the topics of like what Dookie was singing about and stuff like that. I wasn't paying attention to it, but what I did like was I'm like, oh my God, the music hit you so much better. And I think that goes back to, we've talked about it before, is you don't need to know the lyrics and sing along at like a live show to appreciate the music. Like you can just shake your head to the music, and it's more of that how we all first got into music. We didn't like memorize the lyrics and go, this really speaks to me. I get what the vocalist is saying when I'm 11 years old. No, I don't. Like, but that's okay. It's okay to enjoy the music otherwise. And that's where I think this really started, was all these albums that we're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't even put like the Oasis album, Bush. This is like, and I wrote this down as a note, best music year ever, ? But I wonder if that's because, I mean, it is legit. I mean, there's some banger albums that still get played to this day. I remember those cassette tapes like stacked up. The blue Weezer album, the red Smash album, which had like the skeleton on the front, and then the Dookie album, which had like the artwork you would look at forever because it was like this tiny, it was like a highlights magazine picture,
like
almost
Where's
with
Waldo?
like Find the Difference. Yeah, or say Where's Waldo, like, and yeah, Bush. That I've even had like, God, that 16 Stone album by Bush, I don't think I appreciated it enough at the time. I've listened to it since then multiple times. Like you can listen to the whole album. I mean, that's why all these albums that we're talking about, you can listen to the whole album and they're just banger after banger tracks. And you almost hear them perfectly together. Like when one song's ending, you can already hear the start of the next song in your head because that's how you listen to it fully, especially with cassette tapes where there wasn't like, oh wait, start back at the beginning again. Start back at the beginning. Oh no, go to this track. You were invested in the whole thing. Well, at least for 30 minutes till you had to flip it over in the cassette deck. But damn, and then I've had some, same Oasis. I mean, Wonderwall's a great song. Champagne Supernova. What's the Story? Morning Glory. Just fucking rock and roll, dude. That shit is awesome. And like in the mid 2000s, I actually, in what I consider again the black hole of culture for many years, I revisited Oasis and like then some of their newer stuff that had come out after that, and it's all good too. Like I'm kind of glad I went through like an Oasis checkup, as it were, because those songs, they're just good songs, a lot of good melodies. They're great songwriters. They hate each other, but they're going back on tour. Maybe that should be our thing next year: is go to London to go to the Oasis reunion for $5,000 or whatever it is.
My buddy Sean, who I met through work in 2011, 2012. He was a massive Oasis fan, and I always he was like, I'm like, if you ask him like, what's your favorite band of all time? He'd be like, Oasis. And I realize how many people don't say that for people our age group, but like he just hung on to it. And he's like, no, dude. He's like Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Noel's second band that arguably probably released just as much music as Oasis did. Like he would go travel to see them and stuff. And like, he never let that vibe go. And it made me kind of do the same thing. As I'm like, I should revisit Oasis. And I'm like, you know what? They were really good. And they had a pretty wide range that they went over their careers too, with over the spectrum of rock bands. We kind of remember this pretty formulaic process for Oasis, but they strung around different solid sounds and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of the reunion that no one thought was going to happen, and it's kind of the reunion that everyone goes like, all it takes is one day. The least surprising breaking news would be that the Oasis tour is no longer happening. Everyone's waiting for being like, I'll buy tickets, but I'm expecting them to be refunded to me because this will never happen.
Like I'm kind of hoping it goes well enough where they'll come to the States, because I'm obviously not going to spend like thousands of dollars to go to Europe to watch them. But I would fucking watch them in a heartbeat. But I could see like 2 shows in, they're like, nope, fuck it. We're gonna go bankrupt. We're not. We don't care. How can two brothers hang out together? That's ridiculous.
That happened
We
with
can't
Jane's
do this.
Addiction, right? Jane's Addiction just did that. Perry Farrell
Yeah,
started
Perry Farrell and Dave
punching
Navarro.
like Dave
didn't they just
Navarro
fuck-
on the stage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then it's
I could see
okay,
that.
never
I could see
mind.
wanting to punch
Yeah.
Dave Navarro. But yeah, this is the year of my first favorite song that I can think of where it really like I beat it into the ground. This is the first time I can remember just absolutely physically assaulting a song into submission, and is the apropos Self-Esteem, because it didn't have self-esteem. I was like, and again, I didn't know what the lyrics meant, but I just loved the riff. I loved the feel of it. Now because I used to like think of like you, it was like, well, if the song doesn't have a curse word in it, I can play it in the car and nobody cares. And then I'm playing these songs about depression and no self-esteem and being a loser. Like the stuff that didn't, like I wasn't listening to it, but it was like all the grunge stuff. So my parents were like, you shouldn't be listening to this. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is way worse than shit. The word shit.
Right,
I don't understand. Actually this, and actually no, as I'm thinking about it, I think it's the year, I'm going to say it is because it makes sense. Better Than Ezra, Good, that single. I bought that on cassette tape as well. He was good. It was like all this grunge stuff. I was into the whole vocals, all the aesthetics of grunge. I was totally, it locked me in. But yeah, Self-Esteem got me. And I just fucking couldn't let it go. Like the first time I ever remember a song doing that to me where I was like over and over. I just wanted to hear it over and over again. And for people that didn't know it, I probably am on the chorus, but
That's okay, 'cause I got
look at this video vibes from Dexter with the white man dreads. You could do that in Southern California in the 90s. You know, and it was like, why does she sleep with my friend? I didn't understand that when I'm 11.
Right.
She's like, oh, my girlfriend sleeps with my friends. This song rocks. Like,
No, but you did
I don't
know.
like this.
You did know the lyric like, I may be dumb, but I'm not a dweeb. And you're like, yeah, I'm not a dweeb.
Yeah. That's okay because I got no self-esteem. I don't know what that is, but I definitely don't.
I don't got any of that.
conceptually.
I assume
Yeah.
it's something stupid. I don't want self-esteem, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
a brag. Like you're like,
But just that hook, and I was like, oh, fuck. This is a sound that I can feel in my heart. And I love it.
I think, you know what? I think a big part of it too, as a kid, when we don't know lyrics, is that think of how the song starts. You could start with la 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 la, like
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that
Literally,
part,
as a
yeah.
kid, I think you enjoy it, and then the hook is yeah, like so. It is you
Yeah.
can sing along, and it doesn't matter because it's just like you are singing the words, but it's just like emotion. So I think as a kid, right, it probably is terribly appealing for an 11-year-old to be like, yeah, like I'm excited. This is rock and roll, but. It's, yeah, man, very formative years. I think arguably one of the first ska songs that appealed to me was What in the World Happened to You, which is on that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honest to gosh, that the actual
What in
ska
the
tempo.
world happened to you?
Yeah, like
That's what I like.
It's got the upstring guitars
Yeah.
on the like the 1 and 3s or 2 and 4s. I mean, and like so like it's. Yeah, I mean it was a gateway album for sure.
And it was still that Southern California like punk style in a way, like had some of the riffage, some of the faster songs like Kill Boy Powerhead, maybe So Alone or one of those that was like, so I was like like that kind of fast stuff, but then it would have like slow riffage or like, but that was cool about the albums that we've been talking about too, is like all these albums have a lot of variety within them. So it's not like one note where it's like, obviously there's bands now that have very, very, like, what do you call it? Like I guess just a lot of different songs or a variety within their albums, but now it's like so single based that you don't. It's hard for artists to stray and to do something different because it's a risk. It's a huge risk, but
Yeah.
it was cool to enjoy these albums and to hear them back to back and to hear the different dynamics, speeds, vibes, everything. And that was a very special era. So I don't know, best year for music or just it was just timely for us. I think there's probably part of it is the nostalgia and the timeliness for us. But it was a big year, 94, all timer, I would say.
For sure. For sure. Let's get into movies, man. So the kid in me and the adult in me has a lot of favorites from 94. So the kid in me, D2 Mighty Ducks. I mean, for anyone our age group, who doesn't love Mighty Ducks 2? Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like,
being covered nationwide, the Junior Olympics.
The one-liners from because now the kids are older and they're sassier. So like the one-liners from guys like Aberman and stuff are just so good. Aberman and Goldberg just amped up their versions of themselves from the first one. My personal favorite, you mentioned Rookie of the Year last episode. My favorite childhood baseball movie that came out right after that, Little Big League, where Billy Haywood inherits the Minnesota Twins and is the manager and owner for the Minnesota Twins. Talk about fun. Oh my God. It is such a good movie. I get that it is not as well known as a lot of other 90s baseball movies, but that is a personal favorite for me. And then I'm not going to break into it yet because I'm sure you're going to break into it. So I'm going to drop a couple more that 1994 at the time I didn't get into, but in my later teens and early 20s, movies like Clerks came out that year, PCU, and Pulp Fiction. So Clerks and Pulp Fiction both arguably started a real amp up for Kevin Smith in the comedy realm and his style of comedy, and then Quentin Tarantino, and we all know what he brought to the table. Pulp Fiction was really his massive commercial success movie that basically opened the doors for him to go, oh, good, now I can do whatever I want, and it'll get play. So both of those, I think, started their own separate worlds of movies where you went to see a movie because of the director. Oh, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie? Sure, whatever, sign me up. Oh, it's a Kevin Smith movie? Sure, whatever, sign me up. And like you confidently went for movies directed by a director when it's not a director like Steven Spielberg and stuff like that. So I think for our age group, those two movies are massive for that time.
Yeah, and I think even like as Spielberg was well known by then. He had, Jaws, a little movie called Jaws.
He had done pretty well the previous 15 years.
Yeah. But I think he won his first Oscar finally that year. Well, it was a movie from the year before. But then that year was Shawshank had come out.
Was Shawshank 94?
Which is a big... Yeah, that was a movie that came out that later... that's one of those later watches. Same with Pulp Fiction. I didn't get into Quentin Tarantino until later on.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I was like sort of an enemy of it because I was like, it's too pretentious. Like when Kill Bill came out and like everybody our age in college was going through their Quentin Tarantino is the greatest thing that ever happened. And I'm 20 and this is deep and kind of shit. I was sort of like rejecting that because I didn't want to be that character. But, it's good. It's a good movie. It's very stylized. It's different. It's kind of like what you watch movies for, just to be something a little bit different. I assume the movie you're speaking about, big year for Jim Carrey.
The year
all-time
of,
breakout
of
breakouts.
Jim Carrey. Yeah, the year of
breakout
Jim Carrey.
of breakouts. We got Ace Ventura, we got The Mask, and we've got maybe the greatest.
Man, you are one pathetic
greatest
loser.
Movie that I just still cannot watch to this day because I just will never have that feeling again. Like, I've already watched it 1,000 times, and I can't watch. I mean, I do maybe once a year, maybe every couple of years, I'll watch Dumb and Dumber. But I fucking love that. That's so good, that movie. We talked about it before with the soundtrack, so you don't need to continue on. But I remember when Ace Ventura had come out, and I still hadn't seen it. And my buddy You know Andy Wells? Remember Andy Wells?
I
Just
sure
a
do.
Good guy.
Remember Andy Wells?
Good guy. Hanging out. Now it's fun because on my running path, I run by his old house on Marvin Avenue, where he and his three-legged lizard used to live. And I went over there one day and I was like, I haven't seen Ace Ventura. And he's like, oh, I have it. It's like, or my dad will take us to go see, isn't there like a new Ace Ventura or whatever? I was like, I don't think so. He's like, oh no, this is like Dumb and Dumber. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that's about. And we went to go see it at the movies that day.
Wow. I definitely didn't see Dumb and Dumber in the movies.
Yeah. And it is 94, right? Am I wrong on that?
No, it is. That's the 3. That's the big
that's right.
3.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. But yeah, all these movies blow up. Jim Carrey's huge. I don't know. I don't have to blow Dumb and Dumber. Everybody knows about it. And I don't understand people who watch it and don't enjoy it. That's sad to me. But it was one of the posters. 2 of the posters I've had in my life that I carried on way too long was Dumb and Dumber, black and white, of the little scooter and just the nose dripping and all that. A picture of that.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then also a poster of The Crow with Brandon Lee. I don't know why I had that for so long.
That was 94 as well, right?
Isn't that 94? Great soundtrack. Okay. Great soundtrack. A little bit of the grunge, alternative / industrial stuff that was going on. Of course, the movie where Brandon Lee died filming it, the son of Bruce Lee, the heir apparent, because of like a fake gun or some like the bullet or whatever, the pressure of it, the fake bullet still killed him, like blew up his temple. Yeah. So they had to finish the movie with like a different actor. But just very emo, before emo was emo, just very grungy, pre-Sting, the inspiration for new generation Sting. And I had that poster with me for I don't know why, like, because nobody's like, oh, The Crow, cool. It's like, this is fucking, but I pretend I signed it, the poster, once I moved from place to place, and signed it as Brandon Lee, like he had really signed it. I'd just be like, is that signed? They'd be like, totally, yeah, it's definitely signed.
What a weird thing to do, but I respect it.
I sold on my garage sale from Austin. I was like, I'm not gonna move posters. I can buy these again. And I sold like almost all those like movie posters that I had for like $1.50 or whatever. Now because even the Dumb and Dumber one that I had is now like $20 or something like that, $25. And like I shouldn't have kept it. I don't give a fuck. If I did, I would have it again. But
another movie, one movie I put onto the side because I wanted to mention it because I think like these are the types of movies that I really appreciate, and I think it's directors really trying to think outside the boxes. Was the return to the Nightmare on Elm Street series by Wes Craven. When Wes Craven said, yeah, I'll come back, but I want to do it different. He did Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which was, for those of you not familiar, it was a movie that's allegedly broken down the fourth wall. So in the movie, actors from the first movies are playing themselves having been in the first Freddy movies. But Freddy, so the movie is about Freddy coming out of the movies and actually tormenting the actors that were in the Freddy movies in their sleep. And so it's this very twisted breaking down, like fourth wall. What am I now, behind the fifth wall? Like, and in 1994, as a kid, I didn't like the movie because I couldn't follow it. And then as I got older, I'm like, wow, this was such a good move by Wes Craven. Because he's like, we can't just make another one. You made Freddy's Dead. I'm not making another Freddy movie because literally you titled the last one Freddy's Dead. And we've killed him off like 12 times. So Wes Craven came back only with the ability to do this. Well, no, I'm going to make it as if, like, Wes Craven played Wes Craven in the movie. And the girl who played Nancy, I can't remember her actual name off the top of my head, the main character from him. She plays herself, and like it's about
like
Freddy
Heather Langenkamp or whatever. Was that girl?
Yes, that's exactly her.
Okay.
And so it's about Freddy, like,
or whatever,
coming into her life and like coming after her son and stuff like that to try to, get powers and stuff. But like Freddy was even reimagined. It was still Robert Englund, but like he was a more powerful, and he was supposed to be like a being, a vibe. So it wasn't Freddy in the movies who was a person who had died and was coming back to haunt people. This was like the essence of Freddy. So he was supposed to be more supernatural of a Freddy in the idea that like he's a amalgamation of like emotions that the movies created amongst their audience. So like it was, dude, if you go back and watch it, it is nuts as for how much it's broken down. And I just like, that's being a good horror director, is being like, no, we have to try something different that would terrify people.
I don't think I ever saw that, honestly. I'll have to like give it a watch.
Yeah.
Because just saying that obviously puts the the seed in for what comes a couple years later, which is Scream, which is the very self-aware horror movie. It's a different different series, but it's like incredibly self-aware, acknowledges itself. So he obviously took some of that energy and put it into the new Scream movie, which wasn't meant to be a series, I'm sure, but was wildly successful because of how self-aware and self-referential it was. That's interesting. I'd have to check that out. Forrest Gump also, moving on. Video games.
Video games.
I'm just going to mention these since we're running short on time 20 minutes ago. Donkey Kong Country, all-timer.
Okay.
Is one of the greatest games that ever came out. The music, like, you can put on Donkey Kong Country music on YouTube if you just want to vibe. Just have it in the background. It's real nice.
Well,
like all that kind of like rhythm and all that shit. The island vibes.
The intro to the game starts with the old school Donkey Kong music. Do, 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 do. And then it turns into a modernized, right?
Yeah,
and it's like more of an intense version of it. And I'm like, yo, that's such a good way to do it. I agree.
Minecart levels, all timers. Some of the most fun. Like the first time we ever play a minecart level. Everybody knows Donkey Kong.
God bless emulators for the minecart levels, because one of those final jumps is so brutal to time.
Yeah. Yeah, hitting that. So mention these because they were a big part of my life, the NHL games, but 94, NHL 94, NHL 95 so coming out, featured in Swingers. But those games, just all-timers, like, obviously NHL, all the sports franchises are big, but nothing like the nostalgia and the sweetness of those old-school hockey games, which were fun. Like, hockey, I think, besides now or lately, hockey's just been very big. But those early 90s, late 80s, early 90s years, hockey was so blown up. Like everybody had that game on Sega or SNES or whatever. And one for us. I think Super Bomberman 2 came out this year, but I don't remember which one we used to rent. Super Bomberman.
The first one.
But we had special nights growing up in middle school. You remember? Where we would get the SNES and we got the adapter. So you could make it 4 controllers instead of 2. And you and me, Mike Demline and Dan Flanagan would play Super Bomberman all night and drink our root beer and our pizza. And that was game. The only reason we played it, if there was any other 4-player game, we would have played it, but there wasn't. So this is the one that we played.
When you went to Wegmans Home Video and rented Bomberman, it came with the adapter. So you and Mike would bring your controllers, because I had Sega. Someone had to bring a Super System. Probably you, because Mike had to leave his at home for his brothers. So you probably brought your system and 2 controllers, and Mike brought a couple controllers. And yeah, because I think Flanagan even had Sega, if I'm not mistaken. So Flanagan and I were Sega guys. But yeah, man, we literally, even to the point where we took it on a band trip. We rented it brought it to the hotel.
And hotels used to put ways to block you from pulling off the cable
little, like,
on
rubber,
the TV, like a little plastic thing.
Yeah, to prevent you from unscrewing the coax. And we pulled it off with pliers.
Yeah, and we did get it off, that plastic thing once.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we can't lose it. Let's set it on top of the lamp so we don't forget. And then it melted. Because we put it on the light bulb. We didn't put it on the lampshade. We put it on the light bulb. It's like, oh, no. It wasn't us. Nobody will never. I bet nobody ever knew. I don't even know if we threw it away or put it in a drawer, but nobody's checking for that.
No.
Who cares?
No. With video games, I went a different route. Somewhere around this is when my family got a PC.
Dude, Doom. I have it written down here.
Doom and SimCity 2000. Two, just like Doom being a first-person shooter. Certainly, I can't believe that my mom wanted me playing Doom, but I think Bri got it for like his birthday. So that was the beauty of having an older brother who's 3.5 years older than me, is that I got exposed to more violent things and inappropriate things faster than everyone else. But yeah, Doom was just like, I was not good at it. It was above me being able to play. So I'd play a couple of games and I'd have to put in cheat codes like God mode where I couldn't die and stuff. But like, talk about the real first coming of, or the real big opener for first person shooters. Wolfenstein was a game that came out before that, but Doom was really took it off. And then SimCity. Again, I didn't play for the long game, but I'm like, haha, I can build farms, I can build this. And like, it's that gradual like societal builds, which I got more into like Roller Coaster Tycoon later on when that came out when we were in like high school. I liked that a little bit more. That was up my alley. But SimCity was like, got me really intrigued into those types of, what do you call them? Just like strategy games. So yeah, very, very cool in the gaming world was when we got a PC and got exposed to computer only games that were not available on console.
Yeah, that's big. The first person, all that. I will have a computer years later, or we will have things like Yahoo that just came out this year, and all that. Yahoo Mail. Bogart 325 RIP. The email of a generation. Yeah. All right. Well, we've probably usurped enough of all y'all's time. There's a little fellow named O.J. Simpson that had something going on that year. Check your history books. I don't remember what it was. It was maybe a rushing record or something about the Denver Broncos. I don't know. But,
why do did he get traded to the Broncos? Why do I keep remembering the Broncos and O.J. Simpson? Oh, well.
But that'll do. Wow, we've been going long lately, but people are demanding it. Yeah,
You're just not talking enough.
This is the part where I would play the theme song at the end, but I can tell that it's being fucky.
Nice.
So we will do the pretend. And 1, 2, 3.
More than me.